Welcome, 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 welcome. Sorry, we're experiencing a few technical difficulties here, but overall, we are getting things squared away and done. Thank you for joining us for this stream. Really appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that light. It's a little bit blinding there. One of our technical difficulties there, but we'll be doing just fine in just a few. Again, welcome. I am Beelzebub. And we will be gaming shortly with our glorious friends. Hi guys, welcome. We're back on the stream. It's good to be here, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's definitely something new and different. I guess you could say the lighting's a little off, but we'll have to figure that out a little bit sooner rather than later. Welcome to the stream. I'm Pip. That's Conrad. Uh, Shitbox over. That's not my name. Yeah, Shitbox over here is he's he's definitely gonna be a little bit more annoying than he usually. I'm not gonna be more annoying. Come on, Pip. Welcome to the stream, guys. I'm yeah. You're next, Art. Yes, of course I am. Welcome everyone to the stream. This is Beelzebub's channel. We are all part of Beelzebub himself, and may we all have a wonderful time in this area of expertise of entertainment. Don't forget about me. Yes, that guy. Yeah, that guy. Good to see everybody. How you doing? Really appreciate you being here. Thanks for showing up. What about me? We always seem to forget about you, don't we, little one? Well, that's not very nice, I have to say. I'm probably the smartest out. The second smartest out of the bunch. I don't. I didn't forget about all that, but you hit me on top of the head with that neutron enhancer. Yeah, you had it coming. You fuck with my science. Well, that's how we're gonna start things. Well, guys, welcome to the stream, and hopefully these guys can provide a little bit of entertainment, same as myself here. If there's anything that needs to go down, or you need to go ahead and let me know, please. If you can't hear me, something like that, if there's technical difficulties, please let me know. It's not your job, but I mean, I think I have everything good, everything set up. Um, so we'll be all right. We're gonna go ahead and turn up the audio up a little bit here, which is presently 0, but it's about halfway right now, so it should be happening. So we're gonna do some dailies in PSO, and I haven't decided whether I'm gonna go ahead and hit my head against a brick wall for Hellpoint. Hellpoint, and they fixed some of the issues. I'm fairly certain, especially some of the multiplayer. So we may be able to get one of my buddies on stream here, see what they say, see what happens. Excuse me. But yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a stream. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. We changed. You might notice that we changed the time frames and things like that. Um, so basically, it was just scheduling conflicts and things like that. I think 8 o'clock Fridays and Saturdays is going to be our new starting time. I'm going to try to do 4 hours. If I can't, it ends up being about three and a half. That's probably what it's going to be. You're just a fucking pussy and you can't put up with 4 hours of content. I understand. Well, 4 hours of content for one guy to do, switching voices. Oh, who says I'm just a voice? I'm actually part of your personality. What are you talking about? Yeah, I get it. Sorry. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and do some of that. We'll play it by ear. I won't put an end to the stream necessarily. If we go longer than 4 hours, great. You know, if I can push myself that far, we'll go ahead and start doing some of that. As for PSO2 here, let's go ahead and get started on some of these dailies. Because we got to get some of those silver keys. If you play this game, silver keys are a big boost to your experience gain, especially at the later levels, 70, 75 to 80, and it helps us out a lot. As long as you're not fighting that dragon over and over and over again. I have to say, I don't know what the dailies are right now, so I will go ahead and check on that, Art. And we will definitely. So it's actually mechanical machines. Maybe Cheeky, did you create some of the? I'm back. Don't talk to me right now. Sorry. But yeah, so we'll see what happens, and there's something crackling going on in the background there. Weird. But yeah. So welcome to the stream. We're just starting here. Welcome. If you are brand new, we appreciate you joining us. And we do some voices here on this one, and yeah, we I have one square left on my bingo card. You know, it is what it is. Bingo cards are a thing. I love bingo. Oh, you're back, Cheeky. Well, you guys started talking about bingo. I like bingo. Well, I mean, who doesn't like bingo? You know, I mean, I guess to a certain, as long as it's a big enough boost to what's going on, you know. But maybe make some money, get some lawn furniture. I think there was a skit in not a skit, but the show Umbrella Academy recently, where they one of the two of the characters were playing some bingo at an old folks' home. It was pretty good. She won the lawn set. It was pretty entertaining. Um, let's take a look here. We're gonna do recommended quests. We're gonna hopefully take away with oh, come on, man. We're gonna hopefully take away the with a key from one of these. Supposedly on the recommended quests, you can actually get a key from each one of them from the boxes that they provide at this point, which isn't a bad thing. You know, maybe we'll actually get something we actually want this time. But RNG is RNG. Don't forget about having a food. Thanks very much, Art. Something that I've been forgetting for a while now. So we'll go Miracle Rations, we'll go Try Boost 100%, we'll go XP earned, and we'll go Rare Drop Rate. So that'll be fine. That's part of the dailies. We definitely got to do some of those. So yes, fucking moron. I gotta say, you just looking like you're jumping half the time when you're actually playing this fucking game. Like, I mean, if you ever played an MMO, Pip, you know, you're like one of those things. It's like that's what people do to kind of communicate when they're not talking. You know, jump fucking up and down. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, yeah, because we jump around, on our, when somebody sees a streamer in a lobby or something like that that they recognize and things like that. We are in ship 3. I haven't actually notated that for a bit. Um, which is something that people definitely may want to know. Ship 3 is the one we're on right now. So they're like different ships and shit. Yeah, I was doing the ship selection at the beginning there. Oh, so you're like on like different servers and shit. Well, they couldn't just make a big one, huh? Well, a lot of MMOs have done that, but this is not one of them. Fucking assholes. Make people play on a separate ship separately. It's a little weird, you know. Why wouldn't you want to play with your friends, you know? Oh, your friend chose the wrong ship. Now they can't play with you, but they spent 10, 15 hours leveling up a character. It's kind of fucking mundane to me. I'm like, but I mean, there are server limitations and things like that. If you've ever been a developer, oh, because you've been a developer. It's not what I'm saying. It's just there are some limitations. I mean, my brother does do some game design and things like that. Not that I know a lot. It's just I know, I'm definitely a novice when it comes to even knowing these things. Well, maybe you shouldn't comment on them. Then, you're probably right. Sorry, Pip. And I gotta say, you don't talk out your ass. I did that a couple times myself, and it's farting when you've just had Mexican food. Oh God, no, that's not what we. I thought you meant something different by talking out your ass. Oh no, that. Anyway, yeah. So don't do that when you've just had Mexican food. Just don't do it. Yeah. Well, I'll keep that in mind for future reference. God, I live in a brain with a bunch of morons. Well, it's not like you had any choice in the matter, at least you can say that. Fair enough. It's good to see you not fighting that stupid dragon this time. Why are you calling your kin stupid? Because, to be quite frank, he didn't adventure his tactics at all. He didn't venture out into the unknown. He just let you kill him every time, except for when you were playing that girl character. He let you have it every single time. It was quite amusing. Thanks. I appreciate it. Really do. It's nice. Yeah, that's definitely not something I need to be reminded of, but I appreciate it. That I suck playing girl characters, or at least that force character. I probably shouldn't be like the wizard type or whatever. Yes, you should probably learn how to play the character. Yeah, you're probably right, and I'm very sorry I fucked it up for you. Oh no, I was amused. You got your ass handed to you so many times. What was it, 3, 4 times? Yeah, I think it was around that many. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. I wouldn't say that you don't have to actually figure that out. And who are you? Oh, never mind. Wait, no, who are you? Hello? Okay. Well, come on back here, would you? This is a ghost of my dead son, Brutus, if you remember from the story from last time. I do. That was an interesting story, Conrad. It was definitely something that yeah, something I choose not to forget anytime soon. When your son dies for your pride, and we appreciate you sharing. We really do. And and Brutus is here now. Then I don't really think he wants to talk too much, but it's definitely one of those things. It's a little hard for both of us to talk about. Well, just let him know he can come on in whenever you decide, or he decides that he wants to go ahead and grace us with his presence. Well, he really appreciates that. Ghosts don't fucking exist. That's not part of fucking science. Well, maybe you want to argue with the ghost about that. Ghost? I'm gonna argue whether you exist or not. So, do you fucking exist or not? See, doesn't fucking exist. I don't know, Pip. That doesn't sound like a very solid argument. You stay out of this, you stupid shithead. I'm not gonna worry about you and your opinions. But, you know, I really appreciate that, Bale kind of puts the science first, at least, because that's really what it's all about, putting the science first. I do? You were complaining. Oh no, that was cheeky when he was messing with your science. Yeah, that fucking bastard better not touch my science again. Well, I don't think he's going to touch your science again anytime soon. I think you hitting him over the head with a neutron enhancer is probably a fair way to say you're pissed off. Yeah, and I'll do it fucking again. But I can't. I'm not gonna, you know, sugarcoat anything. I'm definitely smarter than anybody and everybody in this room. That is yet to be seen. Oh, we're waiting for a couple people to initiate teleporter. We'll see what happens. We got one more. Cool, cool. Well, welcome to the stream. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got Conrad here. We've got Pip. We've got Cheeky. We've got Art, and we do have Cletus. He's just in the back sleeping right now, and we do have Brutus right now. I believe it's Conrad's son. He died in a bar fight a while back over Conrad's honor. The honor of a blacksmith is all we have sometimes, besides the work to show itself. Exactly what it means. Well, and you know, more power to you. Dropped 15 frames. Well, really glad to have everybody here. If you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to fight this giant cockroach coming out of the ground here, and we're going to see what... Ooh, there's two giant cockroaches coming out of the ground here. All right. Let's do that. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, I did that really way too soon. Oh, no. Way too soon. There's one on the other side. Let's kill it. No! Alright. Well, that'll work. We have to make sure we do super hard as well. Make sure you remind me, okay? Yes, I'll remind your stupid psyche that you have to do things on the higher difficulty level. You can't be a puss. That's not how you should take that, but... Oh, that's how I'm taking it for you, though. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, just we have to do all these on super hard, even for the other characters they're high enough to do it. So it's one of those things we have to do. Only using 8% of our CPU. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice indeed. Oh, did we get a key? No, your RNG sucks. You get a photon boost. That's glorious. What a shithead. Goodness. Oh, God. You're definitely not a very lucky person. Yeah. I suppose you're right, Art. Thanks so much for rubbing it in on a constant basis. Notice for Alliance expansion. Well, we appreciate that bet. Thank you so much. Alliance is expanding. We're going to go ahead and get those. We're going to go ahead and finish these daily missions. Complete a daily order. And I think that's what we're going to do right now. But we have to finish the other ones, and I have to complete the... Yeah, we finished 2 of them. Okay. And that's Guandas. Automata. Ooh, I missed it by 4. Shoot. Alright. Ooh, got the bonus key. And now we're doing some Alliance. Ooh. No, wait. That's Laver. We're doing Laver's quest. That's right. Let's go ahead and turn these in. I think I might have some more to turn in, but let me just double check these client orders. Yes, you do that, because you never seem to be able to figure everything out at once, do you? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I think you have way too many client orders right now, don't you? So, plenty for the forest. The Vol Dragon, you can go ahead and get rid of those. We won't be doing any of those against my kin again. The desert, tundra, underground shafts, dragon altar. So you're going to do that. So the desert, again, looks like the best way to go about it. So... Ooh, Arcs missions, that's right. And... Look at that, gaining XP and XP and XP. Yeah, you want to take over the stream, Art? You can go ahead and do that. Give me a little rest a little bit. Bale, I wouldn't dream of doing such a thing. I just know that the viewers probably like me best. And when I make my transformation, perhaps I could show it to them sometime on stream. Yeah, you we can definitely, house some of that. And if that's what the viewers want, we can definitely do some of that as well. One or two times. That's no. Oh, the time every stream. Well, that might be a little much for a few folks. But more power to you. Maybe that's what they want. So let's see here. We probably should do some appraisals because I'm gonna do that. I only did one at a time. I didn't even see what that was. All right, here we go. So you can break these down now. Actually, anything above a 7-star weapon, you can actually break down into weapon parts and make weapon parts with the crafting engine or the crafting system now. That doesn't seem too terrible at this point. Let's go to Franca's Cafe. Let's see if we can... Yes, let's go to the cafe. And what exactly is in a cafe? I could really go for a cappuccino. What about you, Brutus? Doesn't look like he wants to talk quite yet. So I mean, we can probably buy something here. No, it's talking. Skill rings. Ask about gathering client orders. Handy item vendor, maybe. I think maybe it's this one, the culinarian. So we can go with a forest tomato salad, sashimi. Let's go with a few of these. I got a lot of forest tomatoes. Ooh, that's pretty nice. So in general, this game for me is the end-all be-all of what a game should be. It has plenty of cosmetics, has the concept of progression that I really enjoy, and in general, it's also one of those games that you can actually progress through even if you're max level and you have max skills and everything like that. The thing about it is, though, is that soloing in this game, while fun and having an alliance and things like that, is not it's not necessarily the epitome of what people do in this game. They get the AI to get involved, and it's definitely something we could really expound upon here, because MMOs are MMOs for a reason. We should really be playing with other people, and I'm an advocate of this too. I want an MMO that I can solo, and I can do that here. That's one of the greatest things about this game that I really appreciate. No, we're not expanding. Which I really appreciate, that I can literally do all the content I want completely solo, because it matchmakes you with literally everything. The issue that I've always had, though, is where, you have a game and, you have to group. And you have to do group content and things like that. With a party that you've predetermined, or, party finder is stupid because then you get trolls and things like that. But it is what it is, and it's like one of those things. When it comes down to it, I'd like to be able to do, like, even if it's just like a 50% upgrade and a 100% upgrade, that would be great for you, or whatever, would literally be, more or less like you could do solo dungeons or things of that nature and still get upgrades, up until that point, where you've gotten all the upgrades you can until the next expansion. And then that way, you're not doing 100% more damage, you're doing 50% more damage or something like that, or whatever, 50% more tanking ability, whatever set you're going for, things like that. But why can't it be more like that, to where you customize your experience? Yeah, if you grouped with 4 or 5 or 6 people, or did raids or something like that, instead of doing the solo content, you could absolutely get better rewards. It's like, it'll be like upgrade 1.5 versus 2.5 or 2. And when you actually finally got a group together or did that group content, you could actually get those better items. But there are always potential for upgrades, at least as a solo player, to do so. And then you could still be viable in certain groups. You're not gonna own that content. You're not gonna be able to, get to that point where you can solo, that 4-man dungeon, but you have the option of doing that solo dungeon. And I never understood why more games don't do it, because, oh, well, all the players would literally, just do solo dungeons. Well, I really don't think that's true. But it does create another, upgrade path that requires the developers to kind of put in place and things like that, which is definitely a pain in the ass in of itself, which I agree to a certain point that it shouldn't be necessary, um, because people should just do the group content, right? Um, but what if, if you don't have friends around? Oh, do PvP. It'll matchmake you with a bunch of other fucking trolls, and you can do this, that, and the other. Like, but what if you don't want to do that? What if you still want to, get some PvE upgrades, and you don't have all of them or whatever, but but you could still, get something done to where you don't have your friends on, you want to play, and there's something going on, right? And I think more honestly, um, games should really do that, because it would provide a player base that wouldn't require like other people on a consistent basis, and it wouldn't even have to be hub based like this, like PSO2. But but that's my 2 cents on the subject. That's why I think this game is really, really pretty perfect. I mean, the upgrade system is there, and you can group with those trolls. You can group with those people who believe, they're doing, the in-game content and things like that for ultimate quests. And you can still get upgrades, and you can still do those things without a full party. Do you get bonuses and rewards by having a full party? Hell yeah, you do. But, you know, do you have to? No. I can sit here and play with you guys and not worry about it, right? I can sit here and be like, oh, I can solo this content anyway, even on super hard, because I worked on my gear. I spent 300 hours on this character, and, that shouldn't be taken away from me. I shouldn't be, gimped into, group content because even though none of my friends are around, I'm not still forced to group with a bunch of unknowns. And I think that's where people are getting it wrong. It's like, oh, well, I made great friends doing, EverQuest back in the day, to where, I made friends for life and things like that. I'm like, you're the exception, right? You're not the rule. Like, why I made friends in WoW, this, that, yeah, there are so many stories about that, maybe tens of thousands of stories, under the concept that there's billions of people in the world, and that's not even 1% of the population, right? Um, and that's and there's another thing about putting yourself out there and keeping that going for your friendships and things like that, and that's fine. You make a friend in Thailand, great, good for you. But that it's not everybody's experience. People play WoW for 2 or 3 months, maybe a month, and try to find a guild or try to find this and that. In the alliances in PSO2, I went through 4 different guilds before I finally found one. Some people don't have that type of drive, but this was the game I wanted to play, and I made sure that that was something that I wanted to do, to make sure I was through part of a bigger community. This is the only game I've done that with, because it has the content to keep it going, right? I was max level and full gear, well, full gear at the time, affixes you can go up to like 6 or 7, but um, I had prime affixes on 4 slots, 3 to 4 slots on every piece of armor, or every weapon that I used, and then joined a guild. I was technically I'm valuable, but at the same time, I don't bother telling people that, because it shouldn't matter. You should know somebody, what they're doing, who they are, and then get to know what type of value, other than their character, other than in game. Hey, do you bring value to that community? And I gotta say, that's one of the things that I think is missing in a lot of MMOs, because do you bring value to the community? Well, no, I just hang out by myself and this, that, and the other, and that's something else. If you had more confidence, if you had a better gear score, you had this, that, and the other, you could have a better confidence level to where you were providing value for a guild, or you were providing value for a community, and 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 that is another thing about the system that I'm talking about, to where it's a side upgrade system for solo players. And I think that's one of the major problems. Well, I've never done this dungeon, or I've never done this. Well, a lesser version that provides lesser gear, but you still kind of learn some of the mechanics, would be fucking great for some of those people. It builds up their confidence, and and it's one of those things where, a lot of people would probably be on board with that. Oh, you're playing, but there are still some of those naysayers. Oh, you're playing an MMO. It's supposed to be, massively multiplayer online. I'm like, but like 45%. That's a number pulling out of my ass. You shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't probably, pull numbers out of my ass, but I'm probably, the minority only because, it's under 50%. A lot of players would probably appreciate a side progression path where, it's only them, where they're making the mistakes and they're not getting yelled at, and or not getting or hoping they find a community that doesn't yell at them for learning. And and I'm, and I'm not going to say that all communities are bad and all communities yell at somebody who makes one mistake in the raid, but there is a certain expectation when you go into a certain community, go into a certain raid, that you'll know certain mechanics. And I think that solo, for half the rewards, or a 0.5 increase in your damage, or a 0.5 percentage, or a 50% increase in your damage versus a 100% increase in your damage, would definitely be like a reward for those solo players that have done that. And they're definitely doing more damage than that guy who's coming in from scratch and not doing the damage, or not knowing the mechanics and things like that. But they're not doing as much damage to people who have, or not providing as much value as people who have done it 100 times. And you might say, well, they're only creating half the value, so what would that do? Well, then why would anybody ever go in and teach them and things like that? But that's where the community lies. Why would you go in? Okay, hey, I'm a solo player, but I've done this 6, 7, 8 times, and I can go ahead and teach you the mechanics because I can be that for you. And they can be like a pillar of the community, like, to where they, maybe an alliance isn't uh you know an alliance that is, how you say, elitist, I guess you could say, or something like that. uh for me, is definitely something that, it definitely is not conducive to building of the community. And you might agree with me, but at the same time, you're going to say, well, it's a massively multiplayer online game. People should want to play with other people. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying that there should be a mechanic in there for these people to actually progress when they don't have their guild around, when they don't have their friends around. And it can't be PvP. Hi. It can't be PvP. It can't be, something that, they're not interested in. It has to be, a dungeon. It has to be something that they want to do. It has to be, that provides some value to them as well. And that's probably one of the things that's missing as a pillar in the community, because, I mean, 30% of players, 25% of players, even if it's a quarter, right? It's going to be one of those things to where you it would definitely be a boon to have these people, understand certain mechanics in a dungeon before, they get told they suck because it's the first time doing it in a dungeon, or even the fifth time, and the people get frustrated. It's like, you should know these mechanics already, blah, blah, blah. Well, like, if it's just me, I don't have to worry about it, and just scale down the damage a little bit so they can do it solo, but they still die from the same exact mechanics, right? And it is definitely something that I think should be incorporated in a lot more games these days. And I don't even think it's an idea for a game. I think games in general, like WoW, EverQuest, whatever else, whoever plays that game anymore. But and great if you do. I loved original EverQuest, but I don't know if it's dead or not anymore. But I think it's still going through Daybreak. But what we really should be doing is kind of banding around these certain mechanics for especially when games are getting to the point games are getting to the point where they're console based, and not everybody has a microphone. Well, how are you supposed to do boss mechanics without a microphone? Because you're, I mean, other than add-ons from WoW who count down certain modifiers and certain abilities for certain bosses, you're not going to have that Xbox person on Final Fantasy 14 that has that mod that tells them exactly when it's going to come around, right? Um, it's not just not going to happen. So, but And that brings me to the other point. It's like a lot of games are getting to the point where, you know, they they are console based, or they have console players, or 10%, 20% of their player base is from consoles. I've encountered a few console players myself. They can't talk. I mean, it's hard enough for them to type. Why would you force these players into a setting where they can't do your content, or they will leave your game because they have nothing else to do, because they just don't have enough for their character to do. And Final Fantasy XIV is a great example of this. The mechanics are amazing with some of those boss battles, and it is one of those things that people should really relish. It's some of the best boss mechanics in any of the MMO genres. I mean, WoW being up there too. It just is. Um, I should get that grid that tells me where samples are, but I think that's an egg. So, like, I wasn't even looking what I was supposed to do in this mission. I was just like, oh, I'm just going around killing things. Um, but yeah, so as things progress in the MMO genre and things like that, like Anthem, right? And Anthem is a sore subject for a lot of folks, um, because it wasn't what we wanted. It had loot mechanics and things like that that weren't there for a lot of folks to kind of relish, um, and enjoy. But it's it's like saying, oh, if you can't play with a group of people, or you can't talk to these people, you can't play our game. And I gotta say, that's probably one of the worst mechanics you could ever have in a multiplayer game that's supposed to be fucking multiplayer. You know. Oh, because you don't have any friends, because you don't have an alliance. It just is what it is. You know, you can't play our game. But yeah, it's I mean, I really get what you're saying there, but at the same time, are you sure that's really what the community wants and needs? I mean, can you even say one way or the other that it wouldn't benefit from a mechanic like that? Really, when it comes down to it. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but there's definitely some concepts in there that, in terms of playability, and like, you should have people to play with in certain examples. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but what I'm saying is there should be a solo mechanic for those players, or those people that don't have microphones, don't have text, don't have things for others to complete to do if you don't have a party. Um, I think that's what they think they're catering to. Like, for instance, if you said Final Fantasy 14, where you're talking about dungeons and boss mechanics and things like that, but they got fates, they got quests. I'm like, but at the same time, quests and fates, I grinded it. I grind that. I can grind. I can grind for hours on end until I don't like the game anymore. And I ground fates that whole time in the beginning when it was a Realm Reborn. And I got to 50, and then they completely negated my progression and everything like that. And that was the problem, because I ground those fates. I got that progression. I got certain items from those fates, which is a great mechanic. You should be um, you know be provided bonuses for doing that content, because if you can't do dungeons, what are you going to do, right? And I know certain fates right now, because they've updated the game, provide bonuses like mounts. Yeah, I heard about that. But at the same time, what exactly does that provide, like a solo player? It's like a mount, right? It doesn't provide them any gear. Well, I think you can craft a lot of this stuff in Final Fantasy 14 too if you make enough money. Yeah, if you make enough money. Okay, so you're a crafter, and you're buying your materials off, and maybe Final Fantasy 14 is not the best example for this, because there are lots of things a solo player can do to get a lot of those, for instance, materials to make items that up your damage and things like that. And maybe that's but what if you don't want to do that all the time? You know. Well, I think they changed it to where you actually had trials that you could solo. You could go in as a solo player, things like that. And I get that part. and maybe Final Fantasy XIV was genuinely a bad example. That's a possibility, but you're not provided. You know, you're provided some of the upgrades. You're provided some of the gear. You're provided some of this, that, and the other. And yeah, and Final Fantasy XIV, I think maybe does it the most perfect for what I'm referring to. I'm just hoping that you don't have to be a max level crafter. You don't have to commission someone to make you that sword, to make you that armor piece, to make you that jewelry piece. Yeah, but I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, that's part of the game mechanic. That's part of keeping the economy going. Because otherwise, if you could go farm it yourself, or half the damage and things like that, the economy wouldn't flourish. And as I said, maybe Final Fantasy XIV was not the best example. Maybe more like WoW is probably a better example, to where literally your next upgrade, at least in-game, is the next dungeon that you have to raid for with 20 people. It just really has none of that unless you want to do quests and all these other things that, provide you some type of bonus sometimes. Like okay, if you want that race, I think the Vulpines or the Vulpura, yeah, you could do that solo and do that through questing and things like that. But that's not a piece of gear. You go into these dungeons with Dungeon Finder. You can do it as a solo player, but then you don't have the mechanics, and then everybody leaves. It's that happened to be plenty of times when I was learning my Retribution Paddle and Healer, and I just was like, well, how am I supposed to learn the mechanics if nobody's fucking here? And that's why I said I got to that certain point where I understand what you're talking about. But I gotta say that Final Fantasy XIV at least does it to a certain way to where you can probably do that. But they don't do it in, like, you could do previous ones. Like, they don't do it where you can solo. You have to be geared enough to solo that next portion. You can't actually learn these mechanics. You have to waste people's time. And you have to do these things with a party and learn it with your guild, and it's learn a mechanic and things like that. With these people, who maybe get frustrated after 5, 6, 7 runs where that guy made a mistake, or you made a mistake and things like that. So it's really tough to say, but it is one of those things that I don't think should be forced upon the player who's learning. And that's a lot of times where a lot of the blame lies. And so it's just one of the mechanics I just can't condone. And that's why I said I understand what you're talking about, but there are some things where that is applicable and should be, not problematic for folks. And we can agree to disagree. But I definitely understand what you're saying, and I think you understand what I'm saying. Yes, would you both shut up already? Art, would you like to add anything to conversation? No, I wouldn't, because I think you're both full of shit, understanding each other's points of view. You see, what you're basically saying is you want a single-player game in a multiplayer universe. Yeah, not really, Art. I'm saying that, like, certain bosses and certain dungeons should really be playable by a solo player, because they should be able to learn the mechanics on their own. But if they could do that, there's no sense of community for those individuals trying to learn those mechanics. And that's a problem that I have with your statement. And I don't think that Pip gets that to that point, because, as I see it, without that sense of community, where people have died in blood over and over and over again, you are the one. That's the mesh, that's the glue that holds some of these communities together. Hey, I learned that raid with that individual. I learned that dungeon with that individual. And it's a true experience that you have together that creates friendships and bonds. I understand that. But there's no reason that you can't have that other than someone like with me. I would really prefer to go into something not blind, not being like, oh, what do I need to do? I need to have this raid leader explain literally every single mechanic to me, because, I can't do it by myself, but they've done it 100 times. I understand, but you're saying that raid leader doesn't want to do that. That raid leader is a leader to begin with. They provide a service to those individuals in their guild, providing value for their guild. That's their value to their community. It doesn't necessarily provide you with, yes, it provides you with a crutch as you learn these mechanics, these things that you do. I never really thought of it that way, but I mean, I don't disagree, because I definitely do agree with the fact that, some raid leaders and things like that and guild leaders provide value for their members because of that reason, right? Um, but I can honestly say it's probably one of those things that it's so minimal to a certain degree because not everybody can be with that raid leader. If it's a 12-man raid and they have 40 members, there's only maybe 6-7 new, not even probably 6-7 new people, probably only taking 2 or 3, so they can actually still beat the content. You've got a point there, but at the same time it is same service that they can provide their members, which is definitely something that a lot of communities definitely lack, especially with the more elitist communities that have lasted a lot longer. And I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying there are certain instances where a solo player going into it, learning the mechanics, and then joining a community would definitely be of higher value than just someone going into it completely and utterly blind. I get what you're saying now. I suppose you're right. I'm wrong, I suppose, this time. You'll owe me later. Sure I will, Art. Whatever you say. You're right, whatever I say. If you guys are done debating now, I have to say that, just with my 2 cents, it's one of those things that I'm definitely one of those people that's not necessarily the most confident in most situations, and I'd really appreciate being able to do things, on my own for a couple times before, I'm forced to join in with a whole bunch of other people. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. There's this thought of it just kind of makes me almost pee myself. Please don't do that. It's the same body. Don't do that. Don't pee yourself, please. It's okay. Just go breathe in a bag or something. Just go breathe in a bag. You'll be fine. God. Well, perhaps you have a bit of way with people there, Bale. I gotta say, it's one of those things that I really appreciate you guys kind of talking it out. Well, thank you very much, Brutus, and I'm glad you finally spoke up. Yeah, finally spoke up. Conrad, is he okay? Oh, he's fine. He just hasn't talked to a couple of people in a few years. Well, I'm definitely glad he decided to come out of his shell here. And if you're new to the stream, welcome. Appreciate you showing up. Hopefully the content's entertaining for you. I've been talking a lot over the last 20 or 30 minutes or so about the topic of MMOs and having more of solo content in terms of actually being able to do dungeons and raids. Well, we're going to get away from this topic now. Yeah, but I'm just explaining to anybody who might be new, that we definitely see it as a definite plus for people to do things on their own. So my son came over, and he decided to tell me that he got the best ore in the game in Minecraft, because he loves Minecraft. I personally despise Minecraft. I'm a creative type. I'm writing a book. I built my own tabletop RPG system, but it's one of those things I just can't sit there and place blocks. at least as a concept. And maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way because there are different things that you could do. But I really can't stand Minecraft on a fundamental level of building things that you do this, that, and the other for. And I'm just like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna play a game like RPG World, which I do. I do play RPG World, things like that. Um, and I build my own world there, and it's kind of blocky. It's kind of like Minecraft, but it's third person and it's less blocky. It is, and it is one of those things that for me I can literally create everything, like multiple worlds that connect to each other, and maybe you could do that in Minecraft too. But you can also create quest lines and things like that. Unfortunately, the customization in RPG World is a little bit lacking right now. Like literally, I think you only have um, kill quests, talk to quests, and collect quests. Those are literally the only things you can do right now. So you can collect a couple items, you can kill a couple things, or you can talk to different people. And I'm like, well, in general, those are the base level quests that you usually have. But let's say, for instance, that you wanted to create a stealth mission, right? And how exactly would you have someone fail a quest? Like this is my tabletop RPG coming out here, um, where what if they fail because they get seen? You know, what if they have to restart? Things like that, and or it makes it harder for them if they get seen, things like that. And I understand there's a lot of coding that goes into that. Um, I did some Java back in the day. I understand how intensive coding can get. Did some HTML, did some Java, um, and I would never go back with how easy people make it today. Um, or maybe you just like things easy. Yeah, maybe Art. Um, but I have to say, it's one of those things that I would really like some more in-depth concept to it. Like if that's what they're working on, great. It's just not for me right now specifically, and I have to say, like there needs to be a lot more going into it for me personally, because I can't not have options. Even if, okay, let's say they have that stealth mission, and the stealth mission has, okay, it gets harder or you fail when you get seen or something like that, and it puts you back to the beginning. There's no mechanic in there like that, but let's just say there doesn't have to be, and instead it just makes it harder for you. I can deal with that too. Um, but or you have to go talk to this person, you have to convince them of something, and I listen to Guy Scalanders, and Guy Scalanders, if you don't know, is How to Be a Great GM, and I love GMing, but I get to the point where I really get burnt out after about 6 to 8 months, and I really just kind of have to take it in stride and just kind of accept the fact that that's me. That's my ADHD. I have this whole world planned out, but I can't just maintain, and I can't keep it interesting. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. So I take about a month-long break, maybe 2 months, and have one of my players just kind of be able to run the game for me, or run their game. Do their thing. We create characters and all that stuff, and being a player as a GM is always fun too. And we have a pretty good group right now. We have 3 potential GMs. That includes me. That people who actually like jamming too, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Which is fun for me. I make characters like Faust. He's Faust Instastale. He's a literal German accent individual who he definitely tinkers with things. He loves to tinker with things, but I also am a big believer in the races of the vampires, and he definitely has syringes who turn regular individuals into vampires for study, and none of the rest of the group knows any of what's going on, but it's one of his character flaws. There was a character at one point that died, and well, basically died. And I was like, hey, GM, I don't mean for this to be like a Deus Ex Machina type of thing, but this is his personality flaw. He sees death in front of him, and he's going to go ahead and create a vampire. He's going to try with his syringe that he's perfected. And the GM allowed it, no problem. I went ahead and stuck it in this player's heart because I didn't think this player wanted to die in the third session anyway. It was a little bit too hard for us, but and that's why I really appreciate GMs that aren't like, well, no, you can't change this, you can't do that. It's my story or nothing. You know, a lot of people kind of play with those GMs sometimes, and it's definitely one of those things. And we can definitely bring Faust to the stream if we really want to, but. He he basically stabbed this player through the heart and turned him into a vampire. And it was like 3 days of full recuperation for it like in-game days, a couple hours of game time of this player recuperating. And so it wasn't necessarily something that was, taken lightly per se. And so what we ended up doing is I ended up like literally asking his in-game sister, who was another player at the table, for blood because they needed a transfusion. Yes, your brother is very weak. He requires a transfusion, and don't you worry, he will be right as rain in no time. But basically, she knew nothing about it, but she would do anything for her brother because he'd saved her life on previous excursions. So I was playing on that, and it was definitely an interesting mechanic, and the players were definitely on board, and I really appreciated the players that were there. Um, but it's definitely an interesting tabletop kind of. If you've never played tabletop, I recommend you do it at least once, and I recommend you do it with a GM that you trust. It's hard to say. I am well aware of that, but it's you can't have a GM who's going to railroad you. And by that I mean if you've never played a tabletop RPG, it's their story or nothing. Oh well, I choose to talk to the guard and ask him about his family, and no, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't like you talking to him. Okay, well, I want to figure out what's going on with this town, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to one of these peasants, and I don't want to talk to that barkeep right now because he could be one of the members of the secret society we're trying to uncover. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to one of these peasants over here at the table. No, you don't they don't talk to you. You have to talk to the bartender. You have to talk to. It's like I don't want to fucking talk to the bartender. I don't want to do that. Let me do what I need to do and modify your game to what I'm doing. That's a good GM. Okay, you have and it is an illusion to a degree. It is. You're gonna have people who want to do their stories, and you're gonna have these people who love their stories. But at the same time, even if they love their stories, they need to throw you a bone. They need to be there. They need to be like, okay, well, yeah, you talk to this peasant, and they tell you, well, you know what? Um, they say that they're a little bit too apprehensive about talking to you out in the open. They say they'd like to meet you outside of bar hours, which is in about 2 hours time. Uh, Unique weapons badge. God, my luck sucks today. God, oh my god. But it is what it is. And so it's you should definitely get one of those GMs who's definitely going to work with you. And I am notorious for letting players get away with murder, especially when it comes to character recreation. I've had characters that literally derail my game on a regular basis just because their character's too strong. Just because they want that character who's a power person and beats the shit out of everything I put up against them. But then I provide certain aspects of the game that will provide a challenge, certainly at least at some points in time. And if you're ever going to play a tabletop RPG or anything like that, definitely make it someone you actually trust, because that's definitely more important than just playing for playing's sake. And a lot of people don't understand the concept of what goes into tabletop role playing, um, like how much story is there, how much of what goes on is planned, or how much isn't, and that is something a great GM can do, um, because they haven't planned for everything, but they've definitely planned enough to keep it going. And Sly Flourish's Great GM is definitely one of those things that your GM should be listening to too. If you ever decide to tabletop role play or anything like that, it should definitely be one of those things that people incorporate into their games. You know, being lazy and only 15 minutes of prep and things like that. So, but yeah, I think you've talked about tabletop RPGing quite enough. It's one of my passions, you know. Yes, well, it might not be their passion. They may not want to talk about it. Well, they could say in chat that it's boring them and they don't want to talk about it. Yes, we'll see if they ever do. Well, where are you at? I think at this point I've finished the daily missions. I'm going to go ahead and come back to this because I need to do the daily missions for all my characters, which I finally realized at this point 2 days after, 3 days after the update. But yeah. So, it is one of those things. I have to do each and every character on and all their daily missions in order to receive the silver key every single time. Oh, good. So I'm not even going to bother with the recommended missions because they don't give you those boxes every time for each character. Once you've done them on one character, it's done. That's just what it is. So we'll go ahead and do ARCs missions. We'll go ahead and do dailies. And we'll go ahead and take that daily order. Right. Oh, no. Let's see. Yes, go to the quest counter again for the 14th time. That's not the quest counter, you moron. Shut up, Art. You're distracting me. But yeah. So, if you are new to the stream, welcome to the stream. We're streaming for about an hour so far. We were a little late today. I'm gonna go ahead and defeat Automata, and desert exploration, huh? We got to do super hard, because otherwise it doesn't give us credit for it. Okay, well, I guess I'll take all of them then. Once I'm done with all these characters, we're going to go to take a quick break. And we're going to go ahead and probably switch games if there's anything that you'd like to see. I have definitely a couple other things that we could play. I'm doing this one first because I absolutely hate this class. Yes, food. Oh, I thought you were going to forget again. Shit. She doesn't have anything I can use, huh? I can't use berry pie. Crap. I really don't need the drop weight, but I need to use one of these. So it is what it is. Alright, so we're going to do those. We're going to do that. We're going to do those. And we're going to keep this going here. Let's see, if I turn this a little bit up, right? So it's not blinding me necessarily, but it's got a little bit better lighting. Is that better for you guys? I don't know. We'll find out. They would tell you if they had a problem with lighting, I imagine. Yeah, you're probably right, Art, but I just want to make sure. Is that such a crime? Yes, you're wasting time. Kill these things, would you? Don't you have to go on their back or something? Yeah, Art. I have to say, those guys are definitely annoying, especially on the difficulty level you're on. Well, Conrad, yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, not much we can do, though. Are you sure you can handle super hard? Well, I'm definitely going to try. It seems to me like you're really kind of just going through the motions with this game. Well, I'm not really, because, I'm actually doing the content, right? Yeah, but you don't like all the classes, and you can't like the game all the way if you don't like all the classes, right? I mean, you're definitely wrong about that. I mean, I definitely like all the classes to a certain degree, but it's one of those things I can't vouch for all the classes. I wouldn't want to play Force full time. Yeah, that seems like you're really just going through the motions there. What do you know about this game? People always think their opinions matter. Let's see. These are all dark full spawn. Let's go ahead and go back over here and kill these guys. Boop 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 boop. All right, and well, are you guys actually, doing things now? What are you talking about doing things? Well, you're still playing this game, so yeah, we're still playing this game. We'll probably play some Shadow of Mordor or something else a little bit later, maybe something else. I'm not sure. I started Mad Max today, and that was pretty cool. But it's an older game, and I'm not sure if there's any stream quality for it. If anyone wants to actually watch it, or they're just gonna watch me. Hi guys. But we are going to go ahead and take a short break after these daily missions. And going to get something to drink, maybe something to eat. Take 2 minutes maximum. We'll be on our way. You were told by one of those, people on YouTube that you shouldn't, be AFK for longer than 30 seconds, because that's 30 seconds that someone will not come back to your channel at all. Yeah, I know you're right, but, I get thirsty. I'm talking all the time. I don't know about this. Well, it's thankfully not you who gets to make the decision, is it? God, these people think they know everything. But yeah. Yellow, 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 yellows. Oh, rappies! Swimsuit rappies. Oh, they were actually tagging the rappie. That's interesting. That's new. Huh. Well, at this point, we're almost done with this. See what goes on here. We gotta make sure we complete a daily too, because that's part of it. Oh my god, these guys are gonna kill me! Oh, stop being such a pussy. They're not going to kill you. Clownish mineral collection. See, you killed them and got a bonus reward. God, is he being a bigger baby? I don't know. I gotta say, I don't appreciate the tone that you guys sometimes put up with, or put up against me, because it's not necessary. I understand what you guys are talking about. I don't, want to be a big baby, but sometimes I just am. But I mean, maybe the viewers think something different. I don't know. Oh, cool! It's like a red one. Come on, bring up your tentacles so I can shock them. I don't think they're gonna do that, Bill. They're probably not gonna do that. I guess you should just shock him, just like that, in the head a couple times. He's not doing anything. That's a little interesting. He decided not to do anything at all. Oh no, he went underground again. What are we gonna do? Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Where is he? There he is. Shoot him. Boom. Oh, he got me. Is he gonna one-shot me? I don't know. Is he one-shotting me? Oh shit, he almost one-shot me. Boom. Come on, where's another tentacle? Give me another tentacle. Yes! Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. All right. We got this. We're going to have almost limitless PP right now because you always need a big PP. Oh, great. You're talking about your penis now. No, I'm not talking about my penis. God. This boss was definitely a hell of a lot easier on super hard than that dragon was. I don't know why. We'll see. Oh yeah, we win, guys. We win. Pikachu! Alright. So let's go ahead and turn these ARX missions in. Yes. But if you're new to the stream, welcome to the stream. I'd like to welcome you to Beelzebub's stream. We got a couple people here. We got Conrad. We got Pip. Don't mention me in the stream. We got Conrad. We got Pip. We got Art. We got Shit for Brains. And we got Cheeky, but he's been gone a while. We also have Cletus and Brutus as guest spots right now. But I don't know how long they're sticking around, so you guys tell me if you like them. You don't know how long I'm going to be sticking around for? What the fuck are you talking about, man? I'm sticking around as long as I can. You just never know, you know? You never know how popular somebody is. What the fuck is that supposed to mean, man? Just, can we move on? Yeah, let's move on. But yeah, so yeah, it's we're playing some PSO2. We're having a good time, doing some dailies here on all four of our characters, and getting keys on all four of them. So it's not too bad. All right, we're gonna go and turn these in. Can only get 25 more. Oh well. We're gonna go ahead and turn Lavaire's. And from there, I have to say, you walk around a hell of a lot in this game. Yeah, it's one of the things you just you just accept it after a while. But you know, one thing to another. Completing all these quests. We can do plenty. Well, I don't really see the point. If there was a way, yeah, we talked about this last stream, dude. If there was a way we could turn them all in, like we could pick them all up, that would be a hell of a lot easier than what we're doing right now. Yeah, I was going to recommend that actually. Yeah, we've already discussed that last stream. If we could get something, developers, that allows us to turn them all in at the same time rather than go into each one individually, that would be massively helpful. And then we're going to go ahead and put the silver key in our stash. Boo. We got another ARX. And let's see here.